just that alone, one bite rather than a whole serving, can be a game changer.
Yeah, because we know that science teaches us we can change taste buds. They literally turn over every couple of weeks. So sometimes it's just introducing a few bites. And even in my book for adults, I have a taste bud reset, because if it hasn't been impressed on you by the time you're 5, that whole range of taste buds, then you're probably not going to like healthy foods. And so you have to retrain your body to understand that. And Dr. Daniel Amen, who I worked really closely with, says we have to be the frontal lobe for our kids. We have to be the brain for them, because they're not there yet. They can't make those decisions that make sense. Do you ever spend time on just connecting the nutrition side to the food and helping them understand why they're doing it?
I do. Yeah. I'm totally a science geek at heart. So like in the official classes, each of them includes a daily nugget, which is like just a little kind of 60-second, science shout out. So like I said, we talk about different colors have different superpowers. We talk about, I like to tell parents, think about what your kids love to do, right? Do they love soccer? Do they love like singing or drama? Do they love reading and like really using their academic brain? And then use that to teach them about how the food is their fuel, right? So we can talk about maybe how whole grains and legumes are going to give them quick energy for that soccer game, or, which foods are really good brain foods like salmon and flaxseed and stuff like that, and how to get that balance and how they're all all a little bit different in the way that they help us. But I mean, I think just food as fuel alone is something that a lot of us weren't taught as kids, to think about how food makes us feel. That's a powerful lesson right there.
Have you ever wondered, is rinsing my produce with the water that comes out of the sink that I don't even drink enough to really clean it? Well, then you're one of the smartest people I know, because you're absolutely right. It's not enough. That's why we created the only all-natural and patented line of food wash and wipes, and it's called Eat Cleaner. It's tasteless, odorless, and lab tested, and it removes up to 99.9% of the residue that water can't, including pesticides, wax, soil, and junk that can carry bacteria that can really make you sick. Plus, we formulated it to help extend the shelf life of your fresh produce too, and that'll save you money. When your berries are lasting up to 10-12 days, you know that's a good thing. It helps your produce last up to 5 times longer using a natural blend of fruit acids and antioxidants. So there's no chemicals. It's just clean eating fun. And this can help save your family an average of over $500 per year. Make it easy on yourself, reduce waste, and get that fruit and veggies into your body, where it's going to do you a lot of good and not in the trash. Check us out, eatcleaner.com, or head to our Amazon store at amazon.com/eatcleaner. Definitely. And I think, you're educating not only the kids, but their parents, because ultimately the parents need to be on board in order to support everything that you're teaching. How has that transformed families? Because I feel like the lesson here is so relevant for not only for the kids, obviously, but for the whole family's lifestyle, where a family may have never had that exposure before.
Oh, for sure. My favorite story is Lori Rose, and she gave me permission to share this. So she's a PhD. She's like an herbalist and gardener, so super smart, but they just got into this bad rut that she and her husband had never planned, and they ate out a lot. So they had their, come to Jesus moment. She and her husband were like, we have to stop. So they announced to their 2 girls, who were like 6 and 9 at the time, we're going to do a 30-day no eating out commitment. And the children lost it, like massive meltdowns.
Oh, really?
Yes. And so the first day that they made this meal together, and because they ate out so much but had like such high standards, the kids had really amazing palates. So the first meal was sushi, and they made that at home, and all the kids had their different, skills that they'd learned in the course that they could do. And She said everybody ate everything. They were all totally shocked it was better than eating out. And just that experience alone of cooking together got everybody on board with the 30 days.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you just got me excited because my daughter was just asking for sushi. She's 18 and she's got an amazing palate. We were dropping off some packages yesterday to ship of our product. And she's like, Mom, I am just craving sushi so bad. I'm like, well, let's make it. Because I just feel like I don't want to order anything raw right now. We're in a difficult time right now. So we're going to make sushi this week. And that got me excited that you said that they were excited about it and that they ate everything.
That's so cool. Yeah. So, there's something to be said about family connection. There are a lot of crazy benefits, good benefits to teaching kids to cook that I didn't see coming. For me, it was very practical. My kids need life skills. I want to feel confident when they leave at 18 that they will not lose all these habits I've created because they don't know how to do it for themselves. I wanted their lifestyle to be sustainable, real food. And then we realized that stuff like that, connecting as a family in the kitchen, makes that whole family culture healthier, not only physical nourishment, but also we know that connection with other people, especially child to adult, is mental health protective.
100%.
Right? So and doing that around healthy food, it's amazing.
Right now, more than anything, we're in the middle of a pandemic and it's something that comes, every 100 years. If you really think about it, we're witnessing something that is unprecedented. And at the same time, it is really frustrating for a lot of people. It's kind of uncharted territory and kids are at home a whole lot more. And I think parents are probably equally as challenged and frustrated as the kids are. What would you say kind of protecting them or arming them with this kitchen wisdom, if you will do for them? And how can we use this time, this unique time, to really strengthen that muscle? Because I think it's a life hack that they may not understand how important it is right now, but man, it will make a difference because I know my best childhood memories were the ones that were around the table.
Absolutely. People all the time, when I tell people what I do, if I meet someone new and I say, I teach kids to cook, and they go, oh, wow, that's really interesting. And then usually within a couple minutes, I hear a history story. I hear a story of cooking with their grandma, or they whip out their phone and show me a picture of something their kids have made in the past month. It's uncanny the way that those connections happen. And so I thank you for that question, because this is a unique time. It's tumultuous, it's uncertain, and it's very difficult, I think, mentally. And so I really want to look for silver linings in my own family. I want to encourage other families to look for silver linings. What are those things that you've always said, I don't have time to do this? And for a lot of families, teaching their kids to cook, I hear that all the time. Katie, this is a great idea and it's totally a goal I want, but I just cannot find the time, right? We're going to soccer every day at 6.
Yeah.
We got all this homework. And I know some families, man, if parents are still working full time at home and the kids are doing online school, they don't actually have extra time. But some families are finding that they have a little bit of wiggle room, right? A little bit of breathing room, so that it's a wonderful time to get those kids in the kitchen. And, we're going to write their history. We're going to, everyone will remember this. You
make it easy for parents because you have an online course. Can you share a little bit about how that works?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. My goal is to help parents not have to think too hard, because our brains are taxed in normal times. They're even more taxed now.
Bless you for that. Thank you. We all need that.
Yeah. So, I've done the work of breaking what is cooking, right, down into over 30 basic building block skills, and how do those skills logically interconnect, and what's developmentally appropriate for your preschoolers, your early L, your upper L. So all that thinking has been done. And then one of my big focuses was that I wanted the lessons, which again, they're all video. So that's another thing parents don't have to do. You don't have to be 100% confident that you can demonstrate something right, because my kids and I will do that for you. But I really wanted it to be about the skills, not the recipes. I think I see too many in-person kids classes where they're just going to teach you how to make 1, 2, or 3 recipes. And the kids come home and they love that and they feel good and they can make those 1, 2, or 3 recipes again, but that's not going to expand onto cooking all the recipes in the world, right? So we focus on the skills, which also makes it really allergy friendly, because if you're learning the skill of, well, like one, we teach how to read and follow a recipe correctly so that we don't have the Pinterest fails for our kids. We teach working at the stove and flipping. And so if I'm making something, with the flipping skill that the child doesn't like, or you don't have the ingredients in your house and you don't want to go to the store right now, you can use all sorts of recipes, right, to teach that skill of flipping. So it's not about the food as much as it is about the skills, and that makes it very flexible for families too. So it's focused yet flexible.
And I love that. I love that you're teaching skills that they can then apply, because that's how cooking school actually works. You don't just start cooking. You understand, you start with food safety, and you learn how to process and chop, and it really, knife skills, like all of those fundamental things come first before you ever actually start cooking. Mm-hmm. What are the skills that you find that maybe are the most challenging to teach, and which ones come a little bit easier for kids?
That is a good question. I think fear gets in the way for some parents and some kids. So like knife skills and stove and oven safety, for some families, it's their favorite. It's what motivates the kids, the kids who are more adventurous. But for kids who are naturally more timid, those are the ones that are the most oppressive. I've had parents tell me, I haven't been looking forward to the stovetop safety lesson because my child is so nervous. They're so scared, But again, we break that down, and we do a whole bunch of training while the stove or oven is off. So for the oven, and this is a great tip anybody can use if you've got you need to be a little bit older child, I think, to do the oven, because things are heavy going in and out.
Sure.
So you got to have enough literal physical strength. But we have the kids practice with oven mitts and cookie sheets and 9x13 pans with the oven off.
Oh, that's a great idea.
And it's so simple, but it makes them feel comfortable.
I think it's a great idea. And I think, to be honest, some of that fear that you're talking about is probably the parents' fear just imparting on the kids, because they've heard, don't touch the stove or don't touch that knife, when
quite possibly,
it's more about how to handle it. So what do they like best? What do you see? Where do you see them lighting up in terms of skills?
Totally the knife skills. Every time I ask, every year or so, I think, well, maybe things have changed. Maybe there's a new favorite lesson. Every time I ask members, which one's the best? They're like, knife skills. I think because it's so practical right away. So we have 8 of our 32 videos are actually various knife skills, but the foundation is the 10-minute knife skills and safety class. And parents will say, we did this one class and already I have helpers. Already they can, they learn, we teach 4 ways to hold the knife, 3 ways to hold the food. And they can use those in so many different situations right away to be able to see that success and know that they're doing something, a little adult, right? A little grown up. Kids love that feeling.
Is this something that they can do on their own? Like, can kids watch this and then come, I'm just thinking, like, again, in our current situation where parents are busy right now, is this something that you can have your kids watch and not necessarily be watching with them?
Yes, a lot of parents ask me that one too. And it really depends on the age of the child. So that your 4-year-old, no, I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah. But if someone's maybe 10 and up, and especially if they have a little bit of kitchen experience already, then I think they could. But I always have to say, like, the adult really should be in the room with half an ear on the video and, a little bit of supervision, because we are talking knives and fires. So I say it all the time, like, it's so much easier to learn it right the first time than to change a bad habit. Yes. You know what I mean? And it's easy for kids to just do something a little bit wrong and get a bad habit with their knife hold or whatever. So I do like parents to be there, but I don't think it has to be, fully focused 100% of the parents' time.
Yes. And I think, really, I think this is a great thing for everybody to watch together, because like we said, most people haven't gone through the proper training. So being able to refresh, or sharpen their skills, no pun intended, is really, it's a welcome thing. And I think it's just another part of the bonding. For your kids, how old are your kids now?
Sure. I've got a 5-year-old kindergartner, 8-year-old, 11-year-old, and a 14-year-old freshman in high